Hi, everybody. Mark here with Couch to Camino 2026. I'm back. Thanks for your patience. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, but things are better now, so we're okay. Today is going to be our first question and answer episode. I've got quite a bit of questions, quite a few questions here on my laptop. I'm going to go through those. I'll try to be brief, but if you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm not brief, so we'll see how it goes. The big news is we are under 30 days. That's right. 29 days from today, I board the big silver, although I think I'm flying Iberia, so big white bird, to fly to Madrid and then on to Lyon to wrap up my Camino from 2024. If you haven't caught it, I'm not actually starting all the way in France this time for my sixth Camino. I'm starting in Lyon. Well, technically, I'm going to Lyon. I'm going to hang out in Lyon for a couple of days and film some stuff for you guys on breakfasts and lunches and food. And I'm going to go hit a grocery store and do that kind of fun kind of stuff. And then on April 2nd, I jump on a train early in the morning and I go to Sahagún, which is the traditional sort of halfway mark of the Camino. As a matter of fact, there's a monument you pass through just outside of town. But I'm going to go to the cafe where I had to end my last Camino for some family issues. And I'm going to sit down at the table. I'm going to have the same breakfast I had last time. And then I'm going to wrap up my Camino. So that's my plan. Somebody asked if I'm going to be doing daily videos from the Camino. I'm kind of torn on that. I do share some stuff on my Instagram page for family and friends just to let them know that I haven't died. I'm reluctant to show too much of the Camino because, as I've said in other videos, I think that, for me at least, that kind of steals a little bit of the wonder if you watch too much of that stuff. If you like doing that, you should absolutely do it. There are fantastic folks out there that do that sort of stuff much better than I'm ever going to be. I'm terrible at videography and such. But I think what I will do is I'll do some end-of-day wrap-up stuff. I'll show you a brief little video that one of my apps does for me that we're actually going to talk about here in a little bit. I may just post that stuff with not a whole lot of pictures and just give you a end-of-day recap of how the weather was and how things were. And, the biggest thing I really want to concentrate on is I'm here pretending to be an expert. And I haven't been to Spain since October of 2024, so there may have been some changes. So anything that I've told you on these videos that I know now I was completely wrong, I'm going to let you know about that. There's already some little things where a couple of things have gotten easier. I think I'm going to test those and then we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so yes, I am going to be uploading, maybe not every day, just depends on how my day goes. There's some days that I just get done and I want to hang out and not think about stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But so here we go. If you have any additional questions or comments, please leave them below, or you can email me at askmeaCaminoQuestion@gmail.com, and I will get back to you. If you have a question for an upcoming question and answer episode, and I'm probably going to start doing quite a lot of these, mainly because if you spend much time on the internet with in Facebook groups, not that I'm on Facebook, or groups dealing with hobbies, there's a lot of gatekeeping. And my favorite thing is when you ask a question as a new hobbyist and your answer is, use the search function. It's like, dude, my man, it takes just as much effort to say, here's a quick and dirty answer. It takes no answer to don't use the search function and let somebody else who maybe wants to answer that question. It just drives me crazy. So I think I'm going to try to do these even after I get back from the Camino. I'm going to keep doing maybe every other week, bi-weekly question and answer where no matter how new you are to the Camino, whether you've watched all my videos or not, whether you think it's a question that's been asked 1,000 times before, don't be afraid. Shoot it to me, and I will answer to the best of my ability. And that might be fun. Like, there's a couple of beekeeping channels that I watch that are just, question and answer from new beekeepers. And we cover a whole lot of ground, and it gets repetitive, but that's kind of how we share. And maybe we can quit being internet trolls and just try to help each other out. So anyway, favorite thing this week is, again, please go over and watch some stuff on Spain on a Fork YouTube channel. He did a tortilla this week, which is the egg and potato. I don't want to call it a frittata because it's its own thing, but the one he just did a couple of days ago, I have never seen, but I would love to have. It was essentially a frittata that is the egg, but with sautéed vegetables and no potatoes, and it looked really good. And I could see that being a fantastic little lunch pick-me-up. So go have a look. There, right there, Spain on a Fork. There is no better way that I can tell you how to learn what the food will be that you're going to experience as you're going through Spain. And the 40 minutes here in France. Mainly Spain. So, let's get going. My beverage of the day is Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm kind of boring. I'm dehydrated today, so figured I should not have a beer at... Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Could have had a beer. Anyway. So let's get going. Before we go, I told you I ramble a lot. Just a reminder, as we're going through these Q&As, the Camino is not what we would consider a traditional hiking exercise experience. You are walking city to city, town to town, village to village. You're not going to be camping out. You're not going to be firing up a little stove and cooking your dehydrated meals. You're not going to be carrying a week's worth of provisions with you. This is all of the fun of hiking, none of the pain in the butt of hiking. So don't get caught up on water filters and camp stoves and a tent and all of that stuff unless you are deciding to camp across the Camino, which is possible. I frankly don't know how you can do it because there's so much of Spain you can't wild camp. It's illegal just to put a tent up. So I may look into that a little bit. I've got there's at least one person that I met last time in 2024 that did a little bit of that, and I might reach out to Fabrizio and see if I can get a little intel from him, but we'll see. So bearing that in mind, let's go. So question number 1. For the end of my Camino, what is the best way to ship my end of Camino luggage to Santiago so it'll be there when I get done with my Camino? There are a couple of versions. The Correos, the Spanish mail service, you can ship a package from any post office to Santiago and they will hold it for you. Currently, the rule is they'll hold it for 15 days and for free. After 15 days, they charge you per day or per week, whatever. Honestly, the website really didn't tell me much. I've had a not great experience with doing that in the past. I have a trust issue with it now. They changed the rules in the middle of one of my Caminos, so I had stuff that was supposed to be held for, I think back then it was like 30 to 45 days. They changed the rule while my stuff was there, and they basically said, yeah, well, you got about 10 days to come get it. So I ended up having to have a friend who spoke very good Spanish get on the phone and help me arrange a credit card payment to have it held. So a bit of a sour taste, but my preferred way is with Casa Ivar. Ivar is a guy who runs a luggage forwarding service in Santiago. He also is, I believe he's business partners with Wise Pilgrim now. Completely, I'm not affiliated as much as I talk about Wise Pilgrim. And he also runs the Camino de Santiago forum, which if you're into forums and bulletin boards, really one of the best resources, a lot of fantastic people on there. There's some folks that I dearly someday want to meet, because honestly, there's a couple of those folks that are my heroes. Ivar, I'll put a link to his forwarding info down in the description of this video. But if you just Google Casa Ivar luggage, blah, 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 you're going to find it. It pops up really quickly and easily. Dig through. He has very specific instructions on how to send him stuff. There are different options to send packages in Spain, and you want to make sure you're using the correct one or it won't get to him. Currently, his price is around 35 euros to hold your package, but he will hold it up to 90 days. And I believe that's somewhere up to like a 20 or 25 kilo suitcase, like a large piece of luggage or something. I mean, it's going to kill you shipping something that heavy, but so I trust Ivar. I've met Ivar. I've sat and talked with him at a cafe in my first Camino. He's the guy I definitely trust with my stuff. In 2024, because I had shipped a little bit of stuff to Santiago, because I had to come back early to help with my dad, I got a hold of Ivar and just shot him my credit card stuff. He dropped everything in that he was holding for me. He put it in a small bag, shipped it DHL. It got to me a week later. Perfect shape. No problems at all. He is a pro. He's part of the Camino community, a very valuable part. He also has a little YouTube channel where he does, I think, maybe weekly, a couple times a week, just kind of giving a vibe from Santiago. His offices are right near the cathedral, so he gets a great view. He talks to the folks in the Camino office, so he's a valuable resource. Also, ask him what the best non-touristy Camino area restaurant is, and I guarantee he can hook you up with a really good place to go after you're done with your Camino. So, question number 2, water. Somebody reached out expressing concern they're going to be hiking in August, and is there really water on every stage? And the answer is yes, there is water everywhere. Communal municipal fountains are part of Spanish life. I won't say every village, but the villages you're going to be walking through, the towns, the neighborhoods inside of villages all have public water fountains. And they stay on, in my experience, even when I was there in the dead of winter, January and February, they stayed on. This is everywhere in Spain. You'll see people will walk by and fill a water bottle, or they'll splash some water on their face if it's a little bit hot out. There is potable water everywhere. Now, there will be some fountains that are older that will be marked non-potable. Very obvious, and if you go near one and start to fill a water bottle, somebody's going to yell at you, because nobody wants you to get sick from that stuff. You really don't need a water filter. I have never had a waterborne issue in Spain. I strongly suspect that most of the tummy bugs people get are from not washing your filthy pilgrim's paws and some other issues like that. But it's not the water issue. Mainly because those fountains aren't just for you pilgrims, us pilgrims. Those fountains are a valuable part of that village's social life. And if there's bad water, the mayor's going to know immediately. They're going to shut that thing down and get it fixed, because they don't want their locals and their kids and their dogs and whatever else getting sick from it. So, use them. They're fantastic. Kind of wish we had that sort of thing here. Now, that being said, there are 2 stretches. The one is between, the first you're going to run into is between Estea and Los Arcos. If I remember correctly, it's about 17 kilometers, where the last, I want to say the last fountain is in a little park off to your right, just as you cross down into the big farm fields. Really ornate in a little park. It's quite beautiful. From there to Los Arcos, it's probably 10-ish kilometers, so 6-7 miles. In summer, that area does bake. It's pretty hot there, but about halfway through that, there's a gent who lives in Vienna who runs a food truck. And it's great. He's got a cozy little area where he sets up. He's got awnings. He's got chairs. He can hook you up with drinks and snackos and whatever else you need. Really, really nice guy. I had a long talk with him when I was there last time. The other spot is just after Carrera de los Condes. That one, I believe, is about 13 kilometers. And again, about halfway there's a food truck. I want to say it was brand new in 2022-ish, maybe. This was the first time I saw it. But it's so nice having that there. And he does great little grilled sandwiches, and he's got a coffee maker and cold drinks and can hook you up. No bathroom, but, so, yeah, there are places about halfway. But I really encourage you, by the time you get to Estella or Carrion, you're going to get an idea of how much water you're consuming. Just for those 2 sections, take an extra liter if you need it, whatever your water demand is. You just don't know. There could be a day that either one of those trucks just may be closed that day. And having that little bit of water, extra water, carrying an extra 2.2 whatever pounds of water, probably not going to kill you for 2 days that are a week and a half or 2 weeks apart. You'll just take care of that. And say hi to folks to the food trucks. They're a lot of fun. Question 3: Do we have an end of day routine? Yeah, I actually do. So usually my first thing is like during the day when I'm walking, I put my phone on airplane mode with my GPS on. Not that you really need GPS. It's nearly impossible to get lost on the Camino unless you just miss a turn. But the Camino is so heavily marked. You don't need GPS to navigate the Camino. It's ridiculously easy to follow. So the first thing I do is I turn on my phone. I let my wife know that I haven't been eaten by goats or beat up by a basket granny. From the time I hit my GPS watch to stop to the time I go to bed, my goal is to drink 3 liters of water. I'm a big old dude. I sweat like a horse, and I need to rehydrate. So no matter what I've consumed during the day, during my hiking, 3 liters of water before I go to bed are absolutely necessary for me. That does not count any beer, wine, anything else I'm going to consume. 3 liters of water stretched over between when I get done and when I go to sleepy times. I'll also do some light stretching, nothing too serious, but I tend to, towards the end of my hikes, my lower back will start to stiffen up a little bit. So a little light stretching, lunges and such really does help me loosen all that. And it's the same thing I do in the morning before I get started. The last thing I'll do is just sort of reflect on my day. It's, how do I explain this? So I look at my day and I say, what went right? What went wrong? What can I do to prevent what went wrong from happening again? What can I do to ensure that what went right will happen again? And I sort of just do a little mini analysis and then try to figure out the good habits and the bad habits, like my rehydration, my nutrition, my stretching, my sleep, all that good stuff. I'll then check the weather for the next day, try to figure out what I'm going to be doing. Try to figure out, do I want to hang with friends tonight that I've met on the Camino, or am I feeling a little grumpy old man and I'm going to go, pop my earbuds in and listen to some music and snooze a little bit. But mainly the biggest part is just reflecting on the day. What can I do better tomorrow? How can I be better tomorrow? How can I make the Camino a little better for myself and others tomorrow? Now, the other thing I'll do is, and we've just gone into question 4, the end of reflecting on the day is, I'm going to put a link down below to the App Store, if it'll let me, to Relive. It's an app that Now, I have a Garmin GPS watch. I keep track of my stuff. So I've got the app, Relive app on my phone. I use my Garmin watch, and when you set up Relive, it'll ask for permissions for your phone and your gallery and your location and all this good stuff. But what it does is it generates, at the end of the day, I hit the off, everything gets uploaded automatically to Garmin, blah, blah, blah. It allows me to generate a 3D moving map with music and all sorts of fun stuff of what I just walked. And it gives all the elevations and it's really cool. 3D satellite view. And if you give a permission, as you're making the video you want to share, you can put in pictures and it'll show exactly on the little map, on their little trail, where you took that picture. So if you have people at home who maybe don't understand what you're doing and why it's so cool, fantastic way to share. It's very immersive. There's lots of choices in that. It's not terribly expensive. If you don't have a GPS watch that it'll work with, you can just use it on your phone. You hit go, it'll run in the background of your phone. It doesn't use data while it's recording, apart from GPS, which is a trickle of data anymore. It's really cool. Tell you what, I will splice in right about here a video of one of my training hikes from last week. I'll just throw it in here. And that's what Relive gives you. So it's a really good way to sort of share. And it's cool because Relive stores those in their servers. So there's been times that I've been looking at a picture and I'm trying to figure out, where were Kelly and I in 2022? That picture's familiar, but I don't remember where we took it. I can go back in my Relive back to 2022 and kind of go through and look at day-by-day hikes and go, okay, that was in Viana, because all that stuff's there. So it's a fun way to go back and review as well. So if you're into the tech thing, Relive is really cool. I'll put a link down below and give it a try. It's really kind of neat. Question 5. I had somebody ask about, how do you train to walk on all those cobblestones in Spain and France? It's super easy. Apart from Saint-Jean, and some of the larger towns, there's just not a lot of cobblestones. If you've ever done travel in Europe, there are a lot of cobblestones. The big cat's head cobbles are hard to walk on. They're not very comfortable. It's not on the Camino. The Camino is 80 to 85% groomed gravel trail. There is a lot of hard surface walking, concrete, blacktop, all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to be hitting a lot of that. But as far as really challenging cobblestone, it's not a thing. I can't think of a single place I've ever heard of that being an issue. I did hear recently that one of the worst sections early on, the descent into Zubiri, where there are these huge shale ruts in the Camino path that are filled with loose gravel that are notorious. It's slippery, even when it's a little dry and dusty. It's slippery. People get hurt there all the time. 2020, I took a fall there that was no fun. I've heard they've just recently that they have filled a lot of that in, and it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm really anxious to get back there and see, because that walk into Zubiri is actually one of my favorites. It's a perfect, for me, it's a perfect mix of challenge of uphill and downhill and up in the mountains, and just a lot of fun. So yeah, don't sweat the cobbles. Question number 6. Renting hiking poles. Is there a place I can rent hiking poles? I don't want to put up with the chance TSA is going to take my hiking poles. So chances are, if you're flying out of the U.S., you're not going to be able to carry on hiking poles. Supposedly they're easing up on that. I don't know. I never risk it. I either, if I'm going to check my backpack, which I occasionally do, I'll just throw my poles inside my backpack and check it. And then I'll have my satchel that has my medications, my phone, my chargers, batteries, and all that on me. And just let the airline take that. If you really don't like the idea of allowing the airline to take your backpack, I get that. You want to carry on. I get that. What I've done in the past is I get these mailing tubes from the UPS store or FedEx store or whatever, Office Depot. Decent tube, good heavy cardboard. I will take my hiking poles, drop them in, and in case you're wondering, it just shot the lid off the other end and spilled my hiking poles on the floor. So there's now nothing in this tube. And I carry a pocket knife while I'm there. I'll put that in as well. I tape this mess together, and then I will let the airline just check that tube. I write my name on it. I just tape it shut. I've done that 4 Caminos. I've never had an issue. They come out just fine on the other end, and it's no big deal to grab that from the baggage carousel. Now, flying home, I never really worry about it, because flying home, it's minorly annoying if they lose my backpack. I can replace all that stuff if I never see it again. It's a bigger deal flying, but flying back, I'll just throw my hiking poles in my backpack and just check the whole mess and just carry my satchel home and not worry about it. It's a little less stressful flying home. That being said, if your airline were to lose your backpack going, there's a really good chance that you could show up in Saint Jean or absolutely in Pamplona with the clothes you have on your back and a credit card, and you could outfit yourself for a Camino right there and just begin. So it is possible. I've actually considered doing that for a future Camino, just to make a video series on that. I think for my Portuguese Camino that's coming up in 2027, in September 2027, I think I'm going to do a Walmart Camino. I'm going to go, instead of all the stuff I already have, my high-tech nonsense I've been dragging all over Spain for years, I'm going to go to my local Walmart in Southeast Kansas, walk in and buy everything I need to have for a Camino, with the exception of my medications, and do a Camino from Walmart. We'll see if it's possible. It's kind of a thing that other hiking channels have done. It always is kind of fun and funny. If you don't want to take hiking poles, you can get them in Saint Jean. You can get them in Pamplona. You can get them in Zubiri on day 1 or 2, depending on what your schedule is. And they're not terribly expensive. Just get them there if you don't want to fly with them. I talked about a few episodes ago, the $29 aluminum 3-piece collapsing hiking poles from Walmart. They look fantastic. Like the hiking poles I just had, my Durstons, they're a couple $100. But I put, thousands and thousands of miles on my hiking poles. If you're going to just do this a couple of times, don't waste that money. Just go get some cheap ones from Walmart. And if TSA loses them, grab another pair when you get to Saint Jean. Not a huge deal. Question 7. What's your favorite food in Spain? That's really unfair. Any type of pinchos from the Basque Country, but down south, sitting on the beach with my wife and great friends, eating freshly charcoal grilled sardines or fish that just came out of the ocean on the beach in Malaga. Nothing better. So, a lot of it is situational, but if I had to pick one, it's going to be pinchos. Pinchos are just magical. Question 8. Are people the best thing about the Camino, the people you meet? Absolutely, and no. I have friends from all over the world that I still communicate with, and I send Christmas presents to from all over the world. I have friends from every single Camino. It's a fantastic way to meet people. I've told the story before. I'll tell it again. My first Camino in 2017, we were at the Albergue in Orisson. And part of the tradition of there is they have you stand up, introduce yourself. Is this your first Camino? A little bit about yourself, blah, blah, blah. The folks we were sitting with, this big table full of pilgrims, we had a pilgrim from every continent except Antarctica sitting there for dinner. And 2 of the Australians had just been to Antarctica the month before. I don't know outside of the UN cafeteria where you can sit with people from all over the world who are there for a common purpose, a common reason, sharing that experience. It's really remarkable. It just doesn't really happen anywhere else. On to the downside, fellow pilgrims and fellow travelers, man, they can be a big pain in the butt. A lot of folks see the younger folks will see the Camino as a little bit of a pub crawl, which I get. I do too. I drink much more beer and wine when I'm in Spain than I do here by a far margin. You will run into some folks who've consumed a little much. You may run into some folks who they've never stayed in an albergue. They get mad because people are snoring. I mean, that's part of the albergue. Put your earplugs in. You might run into that a little bit, but it's just part of being on the Camino, and you're going to see the best of people. You're going to see the not best of people. So, try to be one of the best of people, and the Camino's better for everybody. So yeah, people are fantastic. I'm an introvert, which is why I have a YouTube channel. And I live out here in the middle of the country. There are no more than 4 people that live within a mile of me. I love my seclusion, but being on the Camino and hanging out with people and meeting them and hearing their stories, it is pretty darn cool. So, question number 9. Can you give me an albergue list? No. I wish I could. If you're starting in Saint Jean and you're going to go all the way to Santiago and then further on to Fustera, there are, no exaggeration, literally thousands of places to sleep along the Camino. The best organized lists you're going to find are going to be things like Wise Pilgrim, Camino Ninja, other Camino apps. Grunze, which is a Spanish language Camino, all things Camino website, and I'll put a link down below in the description for that. I use quite a bit while I'm there. The Brierley guides. And by the way, I think Wise Pilgrim does make a paper guide if you want to carry a book instead of messing with your phone. I totally get it. But there are just too many to be able to give a list. And honestly, my list of my preferred ones, I try to stay in different places every time. So I have some that I like. I have some that I don't. And I will, when I do my next video, I'll do another, my favorite low-end, high-end places for another city. We've done Pamplona and Logroño. I'll do Burgos next, and then we'll go from there. Burgos is awesome. So yeah, just way too many albergues for me to provide a list. I'm sorry. Question 10. Emergencies. The emergency number in Spain is 111. 112. You hit 112 send, you will be hooked up with an operator. They will find an English-speaking operator for you to help you out. I've never had to use it, but it is there. There's an app called Alert Cops that you can find in the Apple Store or the Play Store. I've downloaded it. I cannot, even using VPNs and doing some other little shenanigans, I cannot get that app to register my phone. I've heard other people have had issues too. I've tried it when I'm in France. I've tried it when I'm in Spain, so I'm pinging off local towers and local networks. It will not sync to my phone. I don't trust it. Other people have gotten it to work, and it works great. So awesome. Give it a try. If it works for you, that's fantastic. If not, 112. And this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. This is not a traditional hiking experience. Even when I was in doing my winter Camino in 2020 in January, February, when I did not see other pilgrims for days, there's still tons of people around. With a couple of it, 3 or 4 exceptions, you're really not that alone. If you have a whistle on your backpack, and most of the backpacks seem to come standard with a whistle on the chest strap, 3 blasts on a whistle is a universal worldwide signal for I'm in trouble and I need help. So you're going to find somebody around there. Particularly if you're there April to September, you're going to have trouble avoiding people everywhere. Crowded, packed, really not a big deal. There's going to be folks around. And there are some law enforcement, the Guardia Civil, their job up north is to kind of watch out for us dum-dum pilgrims. You're not going to have a whole lot of trouble dealing with that. So again, 112 is their 911. 112, dial that if you have an emergency, and they'll take care of you. Question 11, what's your final checklist before you leave for the airport? The absolute number one thing is before I stand in the doorway of my house, I pull out, usually it's here in my travel shirt, I pull out my passport. I make sure that it is not my expired passport that has the holes drilled through it, because I've almost done that. I have my passport, I look at it, I put it in my pocket, and off I go. That is the number one thing. So the other things I'll check after that is make sure I have my meds. Make sure I have my banking stuff, my cards, my backup credit card, that kind of stuff. And my phone. With a passport, my medications, bank cards, and a phone, I can do a Camino with the clothes I'm wearing. Anybody can. There's plenty of resources along the Camino. It is, again, one of the reasons why the Camino is so addicting for hikers is you're not dealing with all of the really icky part of hiking, the tent and the rain and the dealing with a cook stove and blowing up an air mattress. You're beginning the day with a flush toilet. You're ending the day with a flush toilet and a bar and food and a bed. It's pretty magical. So, passport, my medications, banking stuff, and my phone. That's basically it. Anything else I can replace, repair, or deal with when I get there. Hey, that was our last question. So thank you for everybody who submitted a question. I will do this again in a couple of weeks. So if you have more questions, please send them to askmeacaminoquestion@gmail.com. Leave them in the comments. The community tab is now open. You can leave a question in the community tab. Since I finally am figuring out how to do the YouTube studio thing on my laptop, which is right there. It's to your left. It's right there. Anyway, so yeah, ask those questions, even if it's not about what next week or the week before or the week at, whatever. If you have a question, ask it. I'll fluff these out, and I'll do these every couple of weeks because this seems to be kind of a fun way to help the new folks out there. But next week, we have a dedicated episode, and the title so far is, Let's All Go to the Bathroom. That's right. We're going to talk about going to the bathroom on the Camino. And yep, it's worse than you think. So anyway, thank you to everybody who reached out to ask how things were going. We're okay here. Things are looking up. Our little issues got dealt with. The house is going. I'm hoping to be ready for sheetrock in a couple of weeks, like the sheetrock crews and the professionals come in and do their things, and then I can sit back a little bit and really get to training for the Camino. Unfortunately, I've missed some training hikes, so the next 4 weeks I got to put some miles in. So, and I'll maybe take you guys along with me on one of those. So, anyway. Thanks for joining our first Q&A. A lot of fun. I kind of love these things. It's easier than me trying to come up with stuff. So anyway, next week we'll all go to the bathroom. So this channel is the worst. You should all unsubscribe. I'm a terrible person. Anyway, I'll see you next week.